Kate.
Welcome to Beyond the Podcast. Today I have a fantastic guest. This is my Auntie Sally.
Hi there, everyone.
So let's chat. Let's have some fun. This is my second podcast, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'm actually not nervous.
I'm sure you do a fine job.
Just want to know a little bit about your life, maybe some words of wisdom that you could share, and anything else you'd like to give us. Insight would be delightful. So,
okay, insight.
Let's rewind back to this very house, your upbringing.
This very room used to be my bedroom.
That's so crazy.
When I was very young, and then we put a big hole in the wall and shifted to the next bedroom and extended another room out where my brothers moved to.
Right.
So my sister and myself shared this bedroom and then the next bedroom next door, which is now your bedroom.
Yep.
And
that's hectic. There's phone numbers still in the doors.
That's right, yeah.
So in terms of growing up, what was it like? Was it you're the second last?
Yes,
yeah.
Number 4 out of 5.
Number 4 out of 5. So what was that like being a young little girl?
Well, we were the feral kids of the area.
Yep.
We were up every tree.
Yep.
We were swinging off every branch. We were chasing possums and birds, collecting eggs, probably now would be frowned upon. Riding horses without saddles. One of my brothers used to put some straw out. We had an old pony. And he would make me steal the straw away from the pony once he was on it. It had put its head down to eat, and I'd have to steal the straw so the pony had nothing to eat and he could get it moving. So then he would lay on the pony's back. It used to pig root a lot. Yeah, so he would lay on it and lean over its rump and grab it by the flanks to make it pig root and put his feet up along its neck and trying to get around its neck to see how long he could hold on for.
Wow.
And then do it all again.
The joys. I forgot to turn the lights on.
Right.
Keep going. And
then we had an old...
hopefully that doesn't ruin the video too much.
We had an old water tank. Old corrugated iron water tank that we used to have in the paddock.
Yeah.
That was our fun. We had so much fun with that. And
it was running in it?
We would get myself and my other younger brother in that. My brother just older than me on top of it.
Yeah, what, like circus
He would
style?
stand on top of it and he would be running that way while we were inside it running that way.
Proper.
So sometimes we'd get going too fast and we would fall over and sometimes we'd hit a bump in the paddock and the tank would actually flip up onto its side. So we'd either be stuck in underneath it and he'd have to get a lump of wood to wedge it up so we could get out, or it'd go up the other way and we'd be stuck in it. So he'd have to throw a big lump of 4x2 in so we could climb back out and then we'd all hang off the edge and get it back on its side again.
Wow.
So that was our fun.
So what do you think in terms of like kids these days compared to the fun that you had as a kid? How do you reckon that differs?
Oh, massively. Our fun was, I always said to my kids, people go, no, let him climb those trees. And I'm like, I'd pull up, open the car door and go, see how high you can get up that tree.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, you can't let the kids climb the trees. I'm like, it's about decision making.
And learning safely.
So they have to learn whether they can make that or not. Yeah. It's their decision. Yeah. They have to learn how far they can push themselves. It's about making good decisions as well because there's small branches and large branches. There's branches that are all different distances apart. So they actually had to think about what they were doing and it made them think.
That's great.
And I think that's part of life, actually making you think through your steps in life.
100%.
So I think starting that young and letting them do that early, and also my belief is, and this is something I say a lot, if you let them take those risks when they're young and they do get hurt, they bounce better for one.
Yeah.
And for two...
Rubber bones.
And for two, they know what getting hurt feels like.
Yeah.
They know what making a bad decision feels like, and it's their bad decision.
Yeah.
So when they get a bit older into their teenage years, they go to do something, I think, I've been hurt doing that before, I probably shouldn't do it, or won't go as hard, or I'll hold back a little bit. Whereas when they're looked after too much, they get away from mum and dad.
They're bubble wrapped.
And then they go and hurt themselves really badly because they haven't got that fear that they should have inbuilt.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that a lot. So in terms of your upbringing as a 14-year-old little girl running around the streets of wherever...
I wasn't much of a girl.
No?
I was like a 14-year-old boy, really.
How does that differ with someone like Hannah, your daughter?
Oh, okay.
Age-wise, do you see a difference or resemblance? Or
massive difference again.
Really?
We played chasey around the neighbourhood, which was a really big, huge, spread-out area.
Yeah.
So we played chasey on our bikes.
Yeah.
And we rode for kilometres.
Yeah.
across paddocks. I was only saying earlier on today to Mum how one of our friends' younger brothers, only a year or two younger, but you know, when you're young, a year's a lot and you don't want them hanging around.
Yeah.
So we deliberately took him into the muddy paddocks so we could get through the other side of the muddy paddocks, but he had mud guards on his bike and the mud used to get jammed up underneath the mud guards and his wheels wouldn't turn. So we would ride off and leave him and he would have to walk the bike home crying.
Little mission.
So he could not get his bike to go because he had to get a stick and poke it all out and we were gone.
So let's fast forward. Let's talk about career.
Okay.
All right, decision making within career. How did that change coming through, going from Geelong, say, and then moving to Tasmania? Run me through a little journey.
Okay, so I took off when all my friends were trying to look for houses and all sorts and travelled around Australia, hitchhiking basically some of the way, driving road trains and stuff.
Wow.
And then came back to Geelong and went to Tasmania and...
Why Tassie?
Dad had just passed away. The fella that I was with said, let's go to Tassie. I'm going to go on the 1st of June whether you come or not.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've been to every other state in Australia. I haven't been to Tasmania. I'll go.
Go on.
So I did. And we lived out in the bush on 78 acres for 14 months with no power.
Wow, how cool.
It was great.
Yeah,
I would go back to it any day. It was so liberating.
Yeah.
You know, you had to provide your own fire. You had to get water. We put a hole through the back of the shed and put a sink up on the wall. And,
Oh, wow, sick.
you know,
Yeah, right.
we were basically scrounging timber to line the walls and ceilings and stuff like that, which was fun and made it look good.
Taught you resilience.
Yeah, I already had plenty of that.
Yeah,
so.
I'm well aware. Yeah.
And then from there, I went and I'd been isolated for 14 months. The fellow that I was with had mental health issues. So he was basically, I didn't know it, but back then it was probably domestic violence is now. But anyhow, I got through that, came out of that and purchased a little tiny house in Stanley for $27,500.
Was that the price? I didn't know
Was
that.
the price.
Wow.
It was the worst house in town and I couldn't live in it.
Wow.
So I did that up and lived in that for 22 years. But when I got free, I thought I have to meet people because I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody while I was in the relationship because I was lining them up to kill him or I was, you know, had all sorts of horrible things happening. So I thought I need to meet people. So I joined about 6 different sporting clubs. Played and
Not one.
they were like, who are you and where did you come from and you wouldn't be good enough. And little did they realise that I was reasonable at every sport I had to go at. So in the first year I cleaned up trophies in every sport that I played.
Far out. In 6 of them.
And then I went and I also did every job imaginable. Everything that the guy that I was sharing a flat with, strictly platonic relationship, he was a wonderful person. He was the town legend a bit and he used to have his meal at the pub every day. It was a half special. So it cost him $4 for a bit of a roast.
4.
That was pretty good.
Delicious.
And every person that walked in there and said, you know anybody that I can find to do this, he dobbed me in.
Really?
And he'd come home that night and go, I think I've got another job for you. I'm like, oh, really? What is it this time? So I went painting with him. I worked in a butcher shop. I went painting with him. I worked out on the fishing boats doing crayfish, king crabs and scallops and long lining for shark. And I also cooked for the abalone divers. So that was all good fun. And at the same time, I started coaching tennis and I was working in restaurants as well, part-time.
Wow.
So I got to almost 30 and went, I think I need to make a career choice. And plus, they'd already not accepting no off me. There was 2 big burly guys cornered me in a pub one night, literally had their arms crossed, elbows touching, literally in the corner and went, we're not taking no for an answer, you're going to be the head trainer at our rugby club. Would not take no for an answer. And I stood there for quite a while saying, I am not doing this. And they're like, you are doing it and we are not accepting no.
Yeah, right.
So in the end, I said yes. So then people started to come to me for massages. They just knock on my door.
Were you qualified? How'd you do
No,
it?
nothing.
Really?
They just came, you can fix us. We know you can fix us. We trust you.
Okay.
And I went, you don't even know who I am. They're like, We know you
know
can
who
fix
you
this.
are.
They actually just, I don't know what it was, but they just felt that I could fix them and they trusted me. So I built my own massage table out of pieces because they were too expensive for me to buy. I didn't have any money. I was very living just above the line, but enjoying myself. And then I sat down and I got my papers for my chef's ticket on the table to do, my papers for my skipper's ticket, sat them on the table. A girlfriend turned up and knocked on the door and said, you need to do this massage course. So I sat them on the table as well, and also had a course there to do for a tennis coach qualifications. So I had 4 different jobs to choose from.
Any avenue.
And then I got a piece of paper, a piece of foolscap below each catalogue.
Yeah.
Put a line down the middle, line across the top, good, bad, under each one. And over a period of a week, I walked past and I wrote all the good things that I could think of down each time I went past and all the bad things that weren't going to work. And I factored in having children, I factored in lifestyle and weather and conditions and seasons and everything like that. And that massage won hands down.
Really?
So I've been doing massage now for 28 years or more.
Far out.
And it's got me to where I'm at, and I'm in a very good position in life.
That's great. So your headspace is pretty strong. What's got you to be so tough in that respect?
Don't know. Part of it I think you're born with.
Yeah.
The other part of it is
The
how you...
hunger to want to do well.
how you process things. I say to my children, I could have sat there with my head in my hands and cried, and I've had some bad relationships, had some bad things happen, and I could have just thrown myself on the ground and cried, or I could just take a deep breath and flare the nostrils and go, energy. My saying is, energy is energy. If you're angry, it's energy. If you're happy, it's energy.
So just be
if you're
happy.
sad, it's energy. If you hate someone, it's energy, you know. So why not go, right, I'm going to direct that energy at getting something achieved.
I love that.
So I've always tried to bring my energy, what I call bring it back to centre, and go, what am I going to do with this energy? So with my energy, I've always built something.
Yeah.
So I've built houses, 2 or 3 houses. I've built a great big barn that I now am promoting work out of with yoga and retreats and things like that. And hopefully I've got a lot more ideas running around in my head that I've just had recently. There's little seeds starting to germinate there to
I like it.
get some more work. So there's a bit more of a passive income. So as I get a bit older than what I am, I can possibly make a bit more of a passive income instead of doing a lot of physical hard work.
What motivates you to do it?
I genuinely enjoy getting something done, and my side of it is I do a lot of massage, and you don't always get a visual reward from the massage.
Yeah.
Like you see,
go,
I feel
good now.
You get a few bruises, they're a bit of, but they're not a reward, you know.
Yeah.
People see you a couple of
Maybe
days
for me
later
it
and
is.
want to run you down in their
Yeah.
car because they're so sore.
Yeah.
But I have had, like, people walk in crippled over or limping and they walk out going, oh, I could actually pull my socks up, or I could get my shoes done up, or that's so much easier. But that's a yes, no worries, next person type thing. But when you build something, you can go back and look at it 100 times and go, oh my God, that looks so good, I want to do more.
Yeah.
And so you do a little bit more, and then you go, oh wow, now I want to do more, and I want to do more. And like when I built the house that I'm in, I always explain to my children, and I use this one a lot when I do retreats and things like that. It's if I helped frame all the house up with the builders, and you know, we got people in, we had to get the proper people to put the roof on and everything like that. But once it was all built to lock up, the whole of the rest of the house was mine because I had no money to pay anybody.
Yeah.
So I walked in the first day that it was all built to lock up, thought, right, because I took every Wednesday off work for the whole year thinking I'll get this house done Wednesdays and Saturdays and Sundays. So that was my time to build.
Yeah.
And walked in this day and just, oh my God, this is like all mine. I've got to do every bit of this. And there was just this skeleton with clothes on. Out the outside, I had to work out all the wiring. I had to work out who and when. I was project managing. I walked in through one door, through that area, up the passageway, out through the garage crying. Got in my car bawling my eyes out. Overwhelmed. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? Where do I start? What do I do? Got home to my little house where I was living, my $27,500 house, and I actually had about 2 minutes of sobbing, and then went, well, that's not getting me anywhere, this energy thing, you know, like it's all energy. So, right, what am I going to do? How can I make this work for me? So I jumped in the car, went out into the garage, and I got a big corkboard.
Yeah.
Put it up next to the island bar, got a fool's cap, tore a piece off, bedroom, living room, bathroom, bedroom, and went to the hardware and got paint colours, went to the kitchen joinery and got laminate samples, went to the timber mill and spoke to the owner of the timber mill about all the different timbers that he's got, thicknesses, types,
styles,
and said, right, filled my head full of information and went back and got paint colours and pegged them all up and got kids to choose colours, me to choose colours, made it fun, and then we chose styles. I ended up buying some timber at an auction, which I could then do a dado through the whole house. So I just chose a room. So I broke the house down into rooms, and then I broke the rooms down into little jobs. And therefore, apparently I've been in, and I've told the children that's how they can go about life as far as making decisions even. When they had projects to do at school, it's like it was far too overwhelming. It was far too big for them. I'm like, right, find your key words and write them all down. Use that word to make a sentence out of. Use that sentence to make a paragraph. By the time you've done 5 or 6 words, you've got 5 or 6 paragraphs, you've filled the page.
Yeah.
It's not so overwhelming then. So that's how I tackle most projects, because my biggest saying is the hardest part about any project is actually starting it.
100%. 100%.
So yeah, you can circle it and circle it and circle it, but you've got to go in and start somewhere. But you do need to plan, you do need to have materials.
What do you find the hardest part about starting anything is? The decision of which way it wants to go, or
planning it well enough so that you're going to be happy with the end result.
Yeah, right.
Like not just going, oh, I'm going to do that. It's like, okay, with the house, which way is the sun coming from?
Yeah.
How do I want to capture that sun? Which rooms do I want to be the warmest?
So much to think about.
So with my house, I wanted to have the living room, because I'm in Tasmania, east, north, west.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
wanted windows there so that I got sun at any time of the day that the sun was out.
Yeah.
And big windows without veranda. So they were just things that I had to plan. And then the courtyard area, which is now filled in and heats the whole
Where do
house
you
up.
get your inspiration from doing that?
I think I've got an overactive mind.
Okay.
So while I'm massaging, I have aha moments, because I go by braille while I'm massaging. I'm sort of not really, I'm pretty much in automatic pilot.
Yeah.
Been doing it for that long, and massage is a feel thing, not a look thing. So I just daydream out the window while I'm massaging.
Yeah, right.
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, where am I working? And while I'm daydreaming out the window, I have these moments where I just go, oh, I've got it, I've got an idea.
Is there a person that inspires you?
Not
Anyone that
really.
you look up to?
No, I don't really I don't read much unless I want to find something out. I haven't got any novels or books that I've actually read and thought they've inspired me. I haven't really got any mentors or anything like that. I had a lady years ago that taught me a lot about protecting my energy. So she was very inspirational, I guess, in a way that she taught me how to channel my energy better. So I guess she was a big inspiration to some degree, because she was like, you know, even if you're in a room and you felt like you were being talked about, she'd go, put mirrors up, make yourself invisible. You're in behind those mirrors. People are only seeing their reflection, or other people, what's reflecting off those mirrors. You're protected from their energy.
I like that.
So I've actually told quite a few people to do that. Blend in, put the mirrors around yourself when you get there, and you'll find that only the people that like you, that want to talk to you, that want to spend positive time with you, are the ones that will approach you.
Yeah, I like that.
And they've noticed a difference when they've done it.
They would have, for sure.
There's 4 or 5 different things that I do, and a lot of the time now they're automatic. I get to the door, take the breath, protection, and off I go, because I'm in contact, physical contact with so many people so often.
Energy shifting.
And there's so many different people that walk in with different energies.
Do you get that energy pretty quick? Like you see people walk in, you're like, whoa, that
Oh,
energy.
yeah. Yep, I can sit in a chair and I can feel someone looking at me. I can feel the dog looking at me. I can feel if an animal's watching me from somewhere. I have lots of different weird things. A lot of people think I'm a bit spooky sometimes with...
How?
Well, I do see movement. of shadows and that sort of thing and energy. So it's either energy that someone's left behind and they're still alive, or energy of, I have actually had a few sightings of little ghosts, or I hear things I know. I've said to someone, I know that was someone walking around that veranda on that particular house. And
is that a new thing, or have you felt that as a kid?
I think I did a fair bit of astral travelling as a kid.
Yeah, right.
I remember doing it in this house. Yeah,
Really?
just remember being way
Probably
up here,
right here
looking
where the
down at
bed was.
myself. Actually, I had a weird dream last night. Now you remind me that I have to write down. So
share it.
Well, I can't explain it just yet. I was on a fishing boat and I was actually driving it out of Stanley and all these other boats. Once we got out of the docks, it was a real hairy out we get, and these big waves were all coming at us, and it was like all these boats were coming at us with cars and little houses on them.
Right.
And they were like, what's going on? They're like, I think it was like they were moving from Iceland or Antarctica, and it's like our island's sunk, or our island's been covered in waves. We need somewhere else to live.
Wow. So
it was, it was a bit weird. Like, it was very confronting. So I don't know what that means just yet, but there was all these, like a whole fleet of boats with little houses and cars on the front deck and houses on the back deck, sort of.
I wonder what that means.
Yeah, and they were like Vikings.
Right. So you went back.
Yeah, I think I've gone back a bit. But I was on a modern fishing boat that I used to work on.
Yeah.
And I was actually steering it out, and the guy that I worked for was on that boat, sort of skippering it and doing something as well as me. He let me steer it out of there, and it was a, like oversteer that way and that way to try and get around rocks and waves and stuff. But anyhow.
What a dream.
It was. I woke up this morning and thought, I haven't dreamt like that for a long time, but
When was the last time you went fishing?
Long time ago, before children.
Oh, really?
So I've got a 17-year-old son.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't go out on a fishing boat because we go for days.
Oh, wow. Oh, right, okay.
Like when you work out off the west coast of Tasmania, you could be gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah, right.
3 weeks.
Hectic.
Yeah.
Good reward, though.
It's an amazing place to be out at sea. On a little boat.
Tapped
when
out
there's
of the world.
Nobody around. You've got maybe 2 other people on a boat with you, and you're trying to find your little quiet place. I used to lay in the rope baskets a lot.
Yeah, right, okay.
With my legs up over the edge, and I'd just lay back in there, and the boat would just be like this. And when you're down in your bunk, you're actually below the water level, so you can hear the water lapping up against the side of the boat, which was amazing. It was very soothing. I found it soothing. Most people think it's scary.
Do you feel like being around water is your happy place?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
I need to be near water. Every house I've got's near water.
I know, I'm a dam maybe, but
I love trees as well. Like if I can,
cool.
It doesn't matter if I'm inland, but I need a little creek or a river or
I like that.
big trees or something.
That's true.
Yeah, no, I really do. I'm always drawn back to the water.
Yeah.
And even when I drove the road trains, I can recall on occasions, it was Brisbane to Darwin most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I can recall getting 2/3 of the way up to Darwin, and I went, this time I have to get to the beach. And there was a beach at Darwin that was a nudist beach. So I would drop the trailer off the back of the truck and drive the truck bobtail down to the beach.
Get in there.
Climb out, take all the clothes off. You don't get in the water, you're going to get eaten by a crocodile.
Oh, wow, okay, right.
You could walk along the beach and maybe get your ankles wet, but you got to be very careful up there.
I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah, crocodiles and stingers.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So the water's not pleasant, and it's all very warm. Tide moves very quickly as well. So you can sit on the beach and the tide just sort of moves like this. You don't notice waves lapping. It just does move at that rate.
How nice.
But yeah, it's like warm bath water, and I like
did you do that?
freshness.
How long
Oh,
ago was
late 80s.
Wow, so I wasn't thought of.
No, you were.
Wasn't
You were
thought of.
probably sort of starting to be thought of.
So what's goals for you now? Like, you've gone through all of these jobs. You've done massage for 28 years. Like, where now? 2024?
I would like my dream. Oh, I really don't like disclosing this, but I'm going to. Seeing that you've asked.
Yeah, no,
I
please.
would really love to have some sold out retreats.
That's cool.
Run some retreats with meditation,
Yeah.
with yoga,
Yeah.
with mindfulness,
Yeah.
healthy eating, a complete and utter detox from technology for everybody that's there.
Much needed for a lot.
I love it. I love not having my technology. I'm really happy when I haven't got it.
Yeah.
So I would either like to run them at my place that I've actually made. I've designed it to actually be able to hold something like that.
Yeah, right. What's sell out? How many people?
Look, 20 would be enough.
Cool.
20
Weekly,
people.
monthly?
I'd like to, well, I'm starting to do them now. I will need to build up a bit more clientele and get the word around a bit, get more known, and maybe do a website for my barn.
Social media.
Yeah,
Sure.
so the Bohemian Barn needs a website.
Bohemian Barn.
That's what it is. And we've got a bit of yoga happening there at the moment.
Yeah.
I've got a few little functions booked in there.
That's great.
But I'd really love to do a weekly, my ultimate would be to do a weekly, like a 5-day retreat. Get all the people that are just in these really high profile jobs that are just so much pressure on them, and pick them up at the airport.
Yeah.
Bring them to my beautiful little town, Stanley.
Yeah.
Our beautiful little town. Everybody else owns it too.
Yeah.
And there's some wonderful accommodation there. There's some wonderful beaches. Bring them there, give them a retreat, sort of Monday afternoon, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, and then take them back to the airport.
What would you like them to get out of it?
I'd like them to grow. It's about how to use your energy. A lot of it's all about how to mould your energy for you. So, you know, feel that energy of yours. Wake up in the morning and be grateful. Be grateful for everything you've got. You know, people whinge about their power bills. They whinge about their phone bills. It's like, it's a privilege. Don't whinge about the privilege that you're prepared to use.
Yeah.
If you want that privilege, you've got to pay for it. If you don't want it, don't have it.
Yeah. I think
It's the same as a car. If you want to drive a long way, you've got to pay for it. You've got to pay for the fuel.
Yeah,
You've got to pay for the tyres. If you don't like it, don't do it. You know, but people like to sort of whinge about things that they can't control, rather than going, what can I do about this? How can I restructure my thought pattern to make this a better thing? So I've been learning a lot. I'm still learning every day and trying to pick things up every day off different people that I do have a little bit of a look at different things. So just waking up and being grateful. I wake up every morning and I go, oh, I've got a roof over my head. I've got a doona over me. This is just amazing. I'm warm. I'm comfortable. I'm so grateful that I'm warm and comfortable. I'm grateful for the view that I've got. I'm grateful for the house I'm in. I'm grateful that I've got the ability to build this house. You know, it was hard work.
Yeah.
But I was grateful to have the smarts to be able to build it, the tools that I'd spent my money on to be able to build it, the energy to be able to build it. Probably bordering on a bit crazy, really, but lots of energy. And then I get up and I get in the shower and I'm like, oh, the person that invented the shower is a genius.
Yeah, legend.
I love my shower.
Yeah, no, you got a
Absolutely
good shower.
love it.
There's a good shower.
So that's just a wonderful thing too. And then I get up and I put the kettle on and I'm like, what a privilege. You press a button.
Power,
you know,
hot water.
I go to the supermarket once a week. Everybody's, I hate shopping. I hate shopping. I'm like, I love shopping.
Yeah.
Every single thing that you could possibly want is under one roof. You don't have to go and dig the spuds out of the paddock in the blistering heat, freezing cold, I should say.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and milk the cow by hand at 4 o'clock in the morning in all sorts of horrible conditions. Maybe chase them across a few paddocks because they've gone through a fence.
Or they've flogged the hay.
Worry about your wheat to make your bread or your tomatoes to make your sandwich, getting eaten by insects, being ruined by weather. You just go through that shop and you're actually in one aisle, out the other aisle. You've got everything you could possibly want to live off, plus some. And off you go home. How easy? 1 hour.
Yeah. I love it.
So that's a big privilege. I always go through the supermarket and everyone that tells me they hate shopping, I'm like, what a privilege it is to have everything under one roof.
I love the complimentary fruit.
You child.
Yes, my child. Yes.
Child at heart.
So let's we'll wrap this up. We could talk for hours. So if you were to give someone advice that's watching this, whether they wanted to gain something from this video in regards to being masseuse, looking at their energy, what's one thing that you could kind of be as an overview to let the listeners and watchers know that would keep them stumped in a good way?
Okay. Find out who you are, what you like. Forget what everybody else has said to you. Forget all the warnings they've given you if they're don't do this, don't do that. You're like, well, why shouldn't I? Ask questions. Don't be scared to go, well, why shouldn't I? Why can't I? I'm going to find out why. I'm not going to just go and do it. Like, you don't do stupid things. But find out more about yourself. I've been asking a lot of people lately to go and look in the mirror for 2 minutes at themselves.
Yeah.
and actually give themselves compliments, because we're all very good at giving other people compliments.
Yeah.
And the last retreat I had, I asked all the people there to actually attach a 3-year-old them to themselves for a week.
Yeah.
And every time they spoke to themselves,
Negative.
they were speaking to a 3-year-old child.
Yeah, you just wouldn't
And
speak badly.
think about what you're saying to yourself about yourself.
Fully.
You wouldn't say it to a 3-year-old, so don't say it to yourself.
Yeah.
So have more compliments for yourself. Be a little bit less harsh on yourself. We're all our own worst critics.
Oh, aren't we?
And basically go and find a job you like, but work. Just work. You know, you've got to work.
Yeah.
It's good for your mental health. It's
Yeah.
good for your physical body. It gets you into a routine. You know, don't try and get out of it, because you waste more energy and it's worse for you trying to sidestep it than what it is actually getting in and doing it.
Yeah, I like that.
I get a big kick out of working. And if I feel tired at the end of the day, that's great.
You've done your job.
I'm like, oh gee, I'm tired. Why is that? And I have a look and I'm like, now I know why.
Yeah.
But that's good
Look
that
at
I'm
what you've
tired.
achieved.
Yes.
Yeah, for
and that
sure.
income also, that can pay for the next project that I want to do, or pays for the bills and there's some left over.
Pays for the kids' food.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
3 teenagers.
Yeah, lots of food.
But just, you know, have a go at all different things and don't be scared. Be wary, but don't be scared. Actually have a go at things that put you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there.
That's the way to grow.
Put yourself out there.
For sure. Put yourself out there and get uncomfortable.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, instead of that's too scary for me. I want to have a go. I may not be good at it. I can get better at it. I'm going to have a go at it. Every job I've ever had, I'm just like, I can do that.
I do too. My ego thinks I'm 10 times better than I
Yeah,
am, for sure.
and I've got this theory in life, if someone else can do it, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to.
I like that.
So I really like to get things done.
Love it.
And, you know, I've got a lot of women that ring me up and go, I've just put a Bunnings kit together. You know, it's only a little
Legend.
cupboard, but
Love
I'm
it.
so happy with myself. I now get you.
Yeah.
I get why you build. I
Yeah.
get why you do what you do. They
Yeah.
all tell me I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they'll put a set of shelves together. I only bought it at Bunnings, but I'm still really proud of myself.
It's a big deal.
And I'm like, I'm really proud of you because you had a go at it. And now you know why I do what I do, and you'll get confidence from that and do more.
Yeah.
You can't start big, you know. You've got to manifest things, but you've got to have a goal that's out there and then take that goal way out further and head towards it. There's no straight line, but once you start heading towards it, you may end up over here, but you're in
still
motion.
going, yeah.
You're in motion, you're making
Going
tracks.
forward.
You're not sitting there procrastinating. So you've got to aim at something. You don't have to hit it. You can go that way, you can go that way. You can hit it. You might go those ways first and then hit it.
That's right.
But start.
I like that. Before we wrap up, one more thing. What's your best memory of me as a kid? What do you remember? Funniest story you've
Funniest story I have
I'm
is
scared.
being out at your place at Winchelsea.
Yeah.
I've still got some
How old
photos
were
from
we?
it actually. I think you're about 8.
got? Okay.
8 years
Do I
old.
know this story?
I reckon you do.
Okay, go.
And you had a pet pig,
Oh, yeah,
quite a
cuddles.
big pig,
Yeah.
and it was pretty muddy.
Yeah. I've seen these photos.
And you and your sister, your twin sister, decided that you would ride this pig, and the pig knew how to turn at 90 degrees very quickly and throw you in the
Go
mud.
under the electric fence
Yes,
as well.
electric fence and mud were involved,
Yeah.
and you were covered from head to toe with black mud, and I
Loved
can
it.
recall your mother hosing you down
Yes.
outside with a pair of
Thanks,
knickers
Kerry.
and a singlet
Yeah,
on.
I remember that. That's a great memory.
I've got the photos to prove it.
That's great. That's
But
how
that
much
was pretty
fun we
funny. I
had.
think I
That's
nearly
great.
wet my pants that day watching you two girls take it in turns at
Jeez,
trying
we had
to
fun
ride
doing
that pig.
See, you don't need no phones. Go ride a pig.
No, you don't need someone else to provide your fun for you. Go
We had so
find
much
it.
fun as a kid there.
Absolutely.
Very grateful.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining me on Beyond the Gym podcast. Very grateful. Second guest.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your couch.
Thanks for
pleasure
coming over
always.
from Tassie to come and sit with an interview. That's great.
Great. Thank you very much, Kate.
Awesome. Well, I'll drop her socials on or in the description and give her a follow. And hopefully you can join her retreats in future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
私は突然の季節、それで死をもって